What's up, little enzymes? Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. I'm sorry for the little break I took, child. I was tired. And as I mentioned before, I am going through a really big move right now. I'm moving from one coast to another coast. And so it's gonna take up a lot of my time. I have to pack up my stuff and just it's logistics and all that stuff, plus my job, plus this, plus. So I'm gonna do my best to get out as many videos as I can in the next couple of months. But just know that November is probably gonna be just as rocky as October was, but I'm gonna do my best. I promise you, I pledge to the little enzymes that I'm gonna do my best. Anyways, so the topic of today's video is mama's boys. Someone requested that I do this topic, and I was kind of waiting for a good story to come through that had a lot of updates, etc. But nothing has really come through, but I found some interesting one-offs, and then I also found an AskReddit thread that has a lot of replies on it. So we'll go through that, and then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. So this first one is just a screenshot from Reddit on Wiki, and the caption or the title says, boy moms acting out. And the screenshot says, rules for dating my son. 1, he is not your ATM. 2, if you show up to my house looking like a exotic dancer, I will make you go away. 3, if I see any smecks on his phone, I will make you go away. 4, understand that if I don't like you, I will make you go away. Okay, I was kind of with her on the first 2. He's not your ATM, and if you show up to the house looking like a dancer, she'll make you go. And what does make you go away mean, ma'am? What are we talking about here? But the smecks, I guess it depends on how old this gentleman is, because that might be a stipulation, a valid stipulation. But then if I don't like you, that's a little much. She said 5, understand that I can make you go away. How? Please be specific. 6, he's a quote-unquote mama's boy. Unless you have a ring on your finger, your opinion of that does not matter. So she knows he's a mama's boy. 7, you are not in charge of him, and it is not up to you to change him. Take him for who he is, or see rule number 5, which is understand that I can make you go away. 8, he is a gentleman. I taught him that. You better act like a lady and deserve that. 9, I know how to avoid jail. What? What? 10, if you weasel your way past all of these rules and fake your way to a ring on your finger, I will be something much worse than your boyfriend's mom. I'll be your mother-in-law. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. I would not approach. Yeah, I would not be dealing with this man. I would not be interacting with him or his crazy mother. Yes, there are things that consciously or subconsciously mothers would like for their sons, but to actually write out a full-out list and then have an undertone of threats to the girl who's trying to date the son, it's not even worth it. Somebody said, is there a term for this madness? Somebody said emotional incest. Ew. Oh, here's a longer comment. Someone said, my mother-in-law is like this with both of her sons. Oh, so has experience. My husband and I had to set down some extreme boundaries and have fought like hell for almost 20 years to maintain them. Her other son, well, he is 54 and has been single most of his adult life. He visits his mom almost every day, despite the fact that he lives 45 minutes away. He has never had a romantic relationship last more than a few months, mostly because he expects women to bow down to him and wait on him hand and foot. He tried that crap with me, and it pissed my husband off to no end. He literally told my husband, after telling me to make his plate and bring it to him, well, she made your dinner plate and brought it to you. My husband let him know immediately that it was because I wanted to, not because it was my job. My husband's amazing. He actually hates that I try to wait on him, but it is how I show love. My brother-in-law cannot hold down a job and has been unemployed for 8 years. His mommy pays his bills. In fact, she just bought him a brand new car. What's worse is she has tried to suck our children in too, and she is always telling me how to raise my children. Well, I have successfully raised more children than she has, and I have way more experience. Not only that, but both of her children are 50 plus. Times have changed. I got legal custody of my 4 youngest siblings when I was 21 and raised them until they turned 18. Oh, wow. Of course, I helped them afterwards, but they were able to stand on their own 2 feet. Before that, I had a bad mother and no father, and because I'm the oldest of 11, god damn, I've been raising children my whole life. Oldest of 11? Goodness gracious. Oh, guess what? They turned out able to be adults without me, unlike her oldest son, who is codependent upon his mommy. Meanwhile, our children have never done illicit substances, make the honor roll every semester. One plays the violin and the other volleyball and tennis. They are both also in all AP classes. They're smart, kind, well-adjusted teenagers. One is a sophomore in college and the other is a senior in high school. Both have jobs. Just goes to show that babying your children all their lives does not do them any favors. You're ruining them. It doesn't do them any favors, and it also doesn't do society any favors because we have to deal with them. That is, I think, the reason why spoiled kids bothers me so much. Because typically, it's like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not like impeding on my life or anything, I don't care what you do. I don't care. But spoiled kids, they ruin society. They directly affect the rest of us. It bothers me. It bothers me. Someone said, this is genuinely such disgusting behavior. Your child is not your property. They're not your emotional crutch, and they don't owe you a relationship. The level of narcissism here is unhinged. I really feel for the boys who grow up dealing with emotional incest like this because it does warp you. Unless you're strong enough to put your foot down or go no contact, it makes it very hard to be a good partner to your future spouse when this level of emotional attachment continues. Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay, let me go to the next post. This one says, am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law she can't go with my husband and I on our honeymoon? The fact that that's even a question, that's crazy. I, 26 female, and my husband, 28 male, recently got married, and we are planning on going on our honeymoon to the Maldives in like 7 days. We have been thinking of this trip ever since we got together and had so many fun couple things prepared. Just yesterday, my mother-in-law, his mother, 57, called us demanding to be included on the trip. She told me she was entitled to go on this trip and spend time with her son and called me selfish when I declined her offer, even though it's my honeymoon. Like, literally search up the definition of honeymoon. It's between 2 newlyweds. She said it would be a waste to spend all this money on only 2 people, but this was something I really looked forward to as a chance to bond with my husband. Am I the a-hole? Come on, girl. You shouldn't even have to ask. It's your literal honeymoon. And what is your husband saying about this? That's what I would like to be interested to know. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any update and she doesn't comment anything. So like, I don't even know if the mother-in-law went on the honeymoon or not. I hope not, but like, that's a crazy request. Somebody said, not the a-hole, and I think you know this. Someone else asked, what does husband think? That's exactly what I'm thinking because, yeah, that's the important part. And then someone responded, yes, what he thinks will determine what the marriage will look like. And then that first person responded and said, it could be a very short marriage. If my mother-in-law turned up on my honeymoon, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would be getting an annulment. But the thing is, I feel like in a lot of instances like the women already have seen how the mother-in-law acts, and either they try to like suck up to her, or they think, oh, once I'm the wife, then it'll change, or I don't know. Many times it doesn't change. If the husband already wasn't standing up to his mom before you got married, it is not going to change after you married. Okay, this one was posted on the Dacia's Digest subreddit like a day ago. And the title is, "The guy I'm talking to gave me Diddy vibes last night." Now, child, at first I was like, what is it finna be about? But then it turned into something that I wasn't expecting. So they say, LOL, to start off, it's not the way that you would think I'm saying it, but it still makes sense once I explain it. Last night, me, 24 female, and the guy I'm talking to, 24 male, went out to a bar with 2 others, and on the way back, he was on the phone, and it was a little alarming for me and one other party with us. I should note that we were intoxicated, by the way. He was talking to his mom and saying how he saw her ex-boyfriend while we were out. They ended up talking about how she has a new man, and I specifically remember him saying, "Ma, you gotta oil that thing up." And the rest of the conversation was on some slightly freaky stuff. What? That's crazy. That's disgusting. Ain't no way. She says, in my mind, I'm thinking, what in the diddy is this? And proceeded to tell him how we didn't want to hear that, especially when it's your mom. And why are you talking to her in that manner? I've been around her before at a little get-together, and that behavior wasn't displayed. Am I overthinking? Is that normal? Even if it's not normal, is it something I should be worried about? So I was like, either that's not actually his mom, and he just said it was his mom because he didn't want you to know he was talking to another girl on the phone, or it's actually his mom and they got a weird relationship, because that's not normal at all. How long have you, I have questions. How long have you known this man? Are you like romantically interested in him? Because if it's just like a friend, you can kind of like keep him. But if you're like romantically interested, I would cut it off immediately. This is weird. There's no way. There's no way I would be talking to any important adult figure in my life like this. You gotta oil that thing up. Are you mad? That's disgusting. Someone said, why did he feel so comfortable having that kind of conversation in front of other people? I don't know about Diddy vibes, but definitely oversharing. I don't like it. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. Keep your eyes open and stop drinking around him. My question is, why did he feel comfortable having that kind of conversation, period, let alone in front of other people? But OP responded, me either, but my mom says I cut people off so fast, so I'll be vigilant. Thanks for responding. Yeah, again, if it's just like an acquaintance, a friend, or somebody you just hang out with every once in a while, I would just keep them at an arm's distance. They wouldn't be in my close friend circle. Just someone who's, I can party with or go out with or whatever. But if it's like a romantic interest for you, definitely no. Immediately no. This next one says, am I the a-hole for calling my husband a mama's boy? I, 27 female, have been married to my husband for 3 years. We're both 27 and Muslim. He's Pakistani and I'm Malian. My husband's the youngest and only boy out of 9 siblings. He's the 10th child and only boy. First of all, that's a lot of kids. Second of all, from what I know of Pakistani culture, because I have a couple Pakistani friends, the boys get treated like better than the girls, pretty much. They get spoiled, as she says in this next sentence. So she says, he was spoiled rotten by his mom and dad. His siblings told me he was a snitch. He told on them for any little thing they did. He even blackmailed them into getting what he wanted. Once he got what he wanted, he would snitch. I, on the other hand, am the oldest of 5 kids. In an African household, I did a lot basically raised my siblings, so they had completely opposite upbringings. I was basically an adult when I was 6 because that was when I had to clean and wash dishes and change my siblings' diapers. Oh, wow. From 6, I didn't have a normal childhood per se, but it was all right. Me and my husband are from 2 different types of family, so I think maybe that's the problem. When me and my husband got married, whenever he didn't get his way, he would call his mom. His mom would then yell and berate me for hurting her baby boy. What? Ain't no way. He does this a lot and it's very annoying. If I didn't cook what he wanted, even if it had something I'm allergic to, he'd cry and call his mom. I'm a normal person and I can't handle this at all. Obviously, I'm gonna get annoyed. I could cough on him and he'd call his mom and say I got him sick. No, girl, no. Was he active? Well, they're Muslim, so they probably didn't date. I wouldn't be able to do it. Oh. She said, well, I'm pregnant and threw up in the toilet. He comes in and sees me throwing up. I kid you not. This man scoffed and called his mom saying I made the bathroom stink and it's dirty. What? Mind you, I'm on the freaking ground of the bathroom throwing up. You'd think his mom would have some sense since she's had 9 kids with 9 pregnancies. Nope, this B pulls up and yells at me in Pakistani language. Once I finished throwing up, she kicked me out of the bathroom to clean it. This is over the line. No, I feel like this is grounds for divorce. This is like harm. She says, my husband gives me a dirty look and says he wished I was like his mom. I called him a snitch and a mama's boy. I then ignored him while he and his mom have a mother-son day together. I saw a video of a sheikh saying, if you are still suckling your mother's tit, then do not get married. A sheikh is like an Islamic pastor or rabbi. He basically was saying if you're living off your mother and are a spoiled mama's boy, and if you have no boundaries with your mother, don't get married. I sent him the video and he got mad and showed it to his mom. His mom then blew up on me and sent me rude messages. I don't even know how I stayed married to him for 3 years. This is pure hell. I can't do this. How should I go about this? I want to try and save our marriage for the sake of our children. I know this probably won't work and I have divorce papers ready and my lawyers ready. I'm only asking if maybe I was the a-hole and there's something I can do. This definitely won't end well. I know that already. So, am I the a-hole? Is there anything I can do to save my marriage? Girl, not the a-hole. Get out of there. How many kids do y'all have? Y'all only been married 3 years. Golly. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. It's not worth it. You will be fighting with his mother for the rest of your life. And now you're going to be fighting with her for custody pretty much because he ain't gonna take care of them kids. Somebody said, why did you marry this man-child? Run for your life from this awful, incorrigible child. Someone responded, better question is, why does she want to save the marriage? And another person responded, I only Googled it, so take it with a grain of salt. But in a matter where they are living, divorce for Muslims seems to be more difficult or hard, though I hope OP would have a good case regardless. And then someone else responded, divorce isn't hard for Muslims, at least I as a Muslim don't think so. My grandparents were divorced and a few of my Muslim friends are divorced. My grandpa actually had a second wife when he divorced my grandma, so he was never single. But my grandma was a divorced woman in the Middle East and she was fine. There is a stigma, but divorce is only life endangering based on the other person and whether either of them belong to a more conservative militant clan. And like you said, depending on where OP lives, it could be life-threatening, but that is happening less and less. Since it is an interracial marriage, they are probably living somewhere outside their countries of origin. Many Muslim countries are racially homogenous, so interracial marriage is uncommon because it is hard to meet someone outside their race. A lot of Muslims in the West have interracial marriages. OP likely lives in a Western country or at least in a metropolitan area. Chances are OP didn't know the extent of her husband being a mama's boy because dating prior to marriage is frowned upon in Islam, and even though Muslims date, it is less open and they wouldn't have lived together. Exactly, that was my thought as well. This actually is a similar situation to what happened to my friend. She didn't find out he was a mama's boy until after the marriage. Luckily, they didn't have kids and her family sided with her. The video of the sheik OP was talking about is 1, great, I had seen it before, and 2, a response to this serious growing problem and ongoing problem in the Muslim community. OP responded, yes, I know, but the difference is this is from an African household. In West Africa, at least where I'm from, divorce is looked down upon. Ooh, child, wait a minute, she has a little update comment. Okay, let me read this other one first. Someone said, you need to leave ASAP. My best friend is also Muslim and was in a similar situation as you with a baby boy. She's still suffering now, but not as much as before, even after a divorce and the child now being 4. Toxic people like your husband and his mother will stay toxic forever. Please escape and try to build a better life for both you and your baby if you choose to have it. Neither you nor your baby deserve to live in that environment, and believe me, your mental health will deteriorate. My best friend almost got to the point of insanity where she wasn't able to take care of herself or her child, and I could see that happening to you in your case. Document all the things that your husband and his mom do so you can use it against them. Try to separate finances as much as you can so you can take care of yourself after divorce, and take the action without him knowing so that they're unable to prepare. Also, make sure you have a safe place to stay while you're going through this so you don't have to risk being anywhere near him when he finds out. It's likely they'll try to manipulate you, but just know that they are not the kinds of people who would change overnight, no matter what words come out of their mouth or what actions they show for a couple days. Please take care of yourself and don't give up the next 60 plus years of your life because of the past 3 years you spent on him already. You don't owe him that when he clearly doesn't think he even owes you sympathy when you're pregnant and sick. You can message me if you need any advice. I think that was a good comment. So OP actually commented and said, hey guys, small update. My husband saw the comment notifications and went through my phone. He was pissed and left the house, but not before destroying our nursery. He's at his mom's house, obviously, and I've sent over the divorce papers. Thanks for all the comments and advice. Oh my good, so she did it. Ooh, shout out to her. Someone said, take pictures of the nursery, keep them on file in a Google Drive, Dropbox, and the cloud. Give them to your lawyer, file for that divorce, and as much custody as you can. Opie said he doesn't really care and hasn't been to any doctor's appointments. He doesn't even know if it's a girl or a boy. I doubt he'll ask for custody even though he's the one that wanted a kid. Oh, wow. That's sad. I would still get custody, even if he doesn't want it or whatever, because in situations like this, I feel like kids can quickly start to be used as a pawn. So, girl, just keep your bases covered. Somebody said, Alhamdulillah. That means thanks be to God, I think. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, praise be to God. I tried to learn Arabic, y'all. It was too hard. It was too hard. My ex is Arab. It's just too hard. It's too hard. Somebody said, you just had them on hand. OP said, yeah, I was already prepared for the worst. Dang. Somebody said, you're the a-hole for marrying this guy and then electing to have a kid with him. WTF. The fact that he's a mama's boy must have been apparent way before you got married. Again, it's different because some Muslims don't date, so you really don't get to see a lot of how they interact with other people, how they interact with their family. You don't live together. You don't see how they, like, a lot of things you just don't get visibility into. So I don't agree with that comment. Now, after they got married, And if she did see, I mean, they've been married for 3 years, and she presumably has seen how he's acted with the mother within those years, I wouldn't have had a baby with him. I slightly agree with that part, but I wouldn't call her an a-hole for doing that. But me personally, I wouldn't have had a baby with that man. Okay, let me go to the next one. So this is the AskReddit post. The question is, what's the worst case of a mama's boy you've ever seen? So everyone is commenting their various experiences. Let me read some of these comments. Someone said, my boyfriend in college didn't get a haircut for 6+ months. Then when his mother visited for graduation, she took him to a hair salon where he got the same haircut as his mom. The same haircut. I would have saved myself months of shenanigans if I'd have just taken that for the red flag it was and ended it there. Someone said, my brother-in-law that can't make himself a sandwich. He has to have his wife, my sister, stop whatever she is doing and make him some food because he has no idea how to put a sandwich together. Yeah. Somebody said that's just weaponized incompetence. He chooses to not learn how so he can have control over her. I agree. I've had situations in the past like that where someone, you ask them to do something that, you do it better. I just don't know how. You do it so much better. No, I will teach you right now. But they don't want to learn because they will always want you to do it. Someone else said, my ex-girlfriend's brother has his mom cut up his meat for him every meal. He is in his mid-20s and he always has to have barbecue sauce with it. Oh my God, that's sad. That is sad. Another story, my older brother, he still lived with his mom in his 30s and was so mollycoddled by her that she not only still did all his laundry, cooked his meals, and bought his clothes for him, but as a consequence, he didn't know how to do these things for himself either. That is sad. That is sad. That you're not only no, I can't even get my words together. That is sad. That's putting your kid at a severe disadvantage. Like, you should be able to do your regular basic activities of daily living at 30 years old. You don't even know how to do laundry or cook a basic meal. You can look on YouTube. Another story, my uncle went straight from his mom's house to being married. After nearly 40 years, they got divorced. He called asking me how to mop and do laundry because he had never done them. Who are these people getting married? There's no way. There's no way. Someone else says, my friend Tony, we've known each other since 1 year old. We are now 46. Up until 4 years ago, his mother managed his bank accounts and he had to put in requests to get his own money out. He has worked since he was 16. I grew up poor and he has always thought he was better than me because of it. Same with his mom. 3 years ago, I had to end that friendship. Never be friends with a freaking mama's boy. They always look down on everyone around them. This dude also weighs 400 pounds, so not sure what race he thinks he won over me. Yikes. Someone said, calling his mommy every single day before bed so she could sing to him. That was only the tip of their weird relationship. That is very odd and not normal, and I would suggest that that person get some counseling. That is not normal. That sounds like trauma. Someone else said, my roommate in college had a guy friend who called his mommy every morning so she could tell him what classes he had that day and what homework assignments were due. Big yikes. He called her multiple times throughout the day so she could tell him what he needed to do next. The guy was basically useless. That is sad. That is sad. Why would you want your child that dependent on you? What if something happens to you? What if you get sick and laid up in the hospital? Now, as this person says, your kid is going to be useless, unable to know how to navigate the world at all without you. But I feel that some people have just this inherent desire to be needed, that they do things like this. That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh, someone commented and said, me, and I hate it. I am 22 by now, but even when I was 16, I constantly told my mom to be more harsh with me and stuff. Like, she would buy me almost anything, let me live my life however I wanted to, and I see now how this kind of ruined me by today. I can't cook the simplest things, I can barely handle money, I sleep for almost all of my free time, I don't even write my own job applications because everybody keeps telling me like, yeah, you really got to start looking more or else it's only going to be harder and harder to look for a job. And when I talk to my mom about it, she literally says, yeah, then let's see tomorrow if we can't look for some jobs together and write these applications. The next day I wake up, she comes into my room only for me to notice that she's already wrote them herself to places I didn't even check at all before. Whenever I'm just doing stuff on my PC and notice I get hungry, she comes into the room and asks if I'm hungry. I tell her that I was about to make something and she insists on making something. I am trying to live independently as much as I can, but this norm of just being able to relax and all is so forced into my head that it's difficult to manage stuff by myself. Luckily, sometimes I do get to have these times where I can care for myself. Like last year, I visited my girlfriend for the first time ever, who lives in Canada about 700 kilometers away from me, and it was the first time I took a flight for this long and this far away. It felt refreshing being out there alone at airports in a completely unknown country with nobody doing the things for me. That is unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because I get where he's coming from. Like, to be honest, if I could just have somebody do all the necessary things for me and not have to worry about it and just be able to relax, then yeah, why wouldn't I? In this hard life that we live. At the same time, he needs to learn those skills. He will be so useless to himself, to society, if he wants a family in the future, to his family, to his girl. Useless. It's not normal just to have someone taking care of everything for you for the rest of your life. You need to learn how to take care of yourself. The fact that he felt so quote unquote free taking a flight to Canada at 22 years old, that's sad. Someone said, my dad, his mom made him pick between us, my mom and my sister, and her. She threatened to unalive herself. He picked his mom. That's just, I have no words. Okay, there's only a few more comments, so I'll read them. Someone said, my ex-husband, who always seemed to argue with his mom, however, he ran to her for everything. He didn't know how to work a washing machine or cook half decent. Everything was always done for him, even up into his 20s. Always took her word over mine, and anything I did, I was constantly compared to her. Also a daddy's boy who had to have his father present for every adult conversation we've had, it seems. And no, none of this was overly present until after we were married. It didn't last long. I was not going to compete with his mother. I know that's right. I ain't competing with anybody. Now, this is the last one I'm gonna read, which is crazy. Somebody said, by the time I finally left my ex, I had been sleeping on the couch with our newborn baby while he slept in a bed with his mom. Gosh, listen, moral of the story. If you are a mama's boy, stay with her. Don't date. Don't bring another woman into your foolishness. Just stay with your mama for the rest of your life. Don't drag anyone else into that situation. So, for the palate cleanser, that was the last of the read for this video. I'm gonna go to the palate cleanser. This is actually from Threads, and it's a screenshot from this account called Gentle Meanings. So there's a screenshot of a kid. So there's a screenshot of a kid laying there. It looks like they just got a medical procedure done. They're laying in a hospital bed with wires and stuff attached to them, and they have their little stuffed animal next to them, and the stuffed animal has a surgical mask on, and a little one of their little legs is wrapped up. So the caption says, this 9-year-old recently had to go in for surgery and was so nervous he brought his stuffed wolf. The wolf had a tear in its leg, So he asked if his doctor could do a wolf surgery too. His parent said no. But when they walked into the recovery room, they discovered the little wolf laying next to their son, this time with a surgical mask, a little cast, and surgical grade sutures in his leg. It is so cute. Like the wolf literally has his little leg wrapped up as if he just got it operated on. So freaking cute. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.